Hello, good day to me, Andy here, and this is Talking Really, and a quick video regarding this woman who is currently the DWP secretary, so the replacement for Mel Stride, because obviously she's Labour, and she was shadow DWP secretary for a long time, and now has the full-time job. So she is now in charge of DWP, the Secretary of State for Works and Pensions. So she is Liz Kendall. And of course, she's been in the news recently because of her views regarding disability and benefits and working and all the other stuff that Labour are going to be pushing under their manifesto. We have an article here. We have two. One is the Canary, which we'll have a look at first. This is dangerous. Liz Kendall continues Labour's lurch to the right, this time with her DWP reforms. And we've said all along about Labour being another branch of the Tory party, just another cheek on the arse of the Tories, which obviously is how we are looking at the Labour government, who some people have pointed out already that they just fell into place because of the fact that people didn't vote for Tories, that Labour sort of won by default, and also obviously the problem with the voting system in the fact that it's first past the post basically, and it doesn't work. Because, as we all know from the stats, Reform got 4 seats and had more votes than basically Lib Dems. Lib Dems got 80 odd seats compared to the number of votes, and of course Labour got 400 seats and obviously had more votes. To call it a landslide, as some people point out, it's wrong because it's not a landslide. Also, bear in mind that only 52% of people voted. If everybody voted as they should, then it would be a lot different. But Reform, as I pointed out in my other video, did really well. They came second in 98 constituencies, so they came second. Unfortunately, they didn't win, and number of votes they got was really good. I mean, 4 million votes. I mean, compared to the top range, number of votes like 6 million, then it's not many. However, they did get a lot of votes, and a lot of people were very pleased with their performance. But they obviously didn't make it because of the system. But Liz Kendall here is now in charge of the DWP. She has some plans for the DWP, and obviously they involve the NHS as well, unfortunately, which is something that they're going to do. Job centres will be made to work with the NHS to get the long-term sick back to work, and the plans which Labour says will be central to the success of the government. Now, it obviously sounds a bit Tory because that's what they've been planning under the last 14 years. DWP and NHS have been working repeatedly increased. That's been increasing over the years. It's been to the dismay of medical professionals, chronically ill and disabled people, and of course campaigners. So, what is she proposing? Kendall, chatting shit dressed up as roses. That's quite a good headline. Right, she says that we have a benefit system which is not supportive. It's not geared around supporting people into work, and too often people are written off when they could, with the right help and support, get back into work. And what you have to do is have a system which gives people the confidence to take the plunge. I do not want job centres to places of fear. I want job centres to be places where you can go and get the support you need to get work, where businesses want to come because they can get the best possible people. What I don't want is to have a situation where work coaches are spending all their time assessing and monitoring people, not giving them the opportunities they need. Now, it all sounds very good, it all sounds very hunky-dory, it all sounds very la-di-da, but this is only the tip of the iceberg, unfortunately. The DWP is lacking in support for disabled people, so I don't see how they're going to change a long history of not caring, especially with the government being in trouble, that's the Tory government, several times over the years from the UN and the UN Raconteur, who has pointed out that the systemic abuse has been going on for a long time. Yes. Now, so the woman says she wants job centres to actually have some duties to collaborate with the NHS and other bodies. Yes, she wants the primary organisation in the UK to looks after people's physical and mental health and well-being to get involved with the DWP. You can see where this is going. You can see the pressure being put on the NHS to authorise people who are physically and mentally disabled to get back to work in a way that is not good. This is obviously a Tony Blair brainchild, because obviously this is from a few years ago and an idea he had to get people into work. It could be that they are going to coerce GPs into giving fit for work verdicts or referring chronically ill and disabled people for voluntary work placements. And obviously this is all about people who are probably too sick to work, and obviously pushing them into this particular avenue. This is job centres are increasingly encroaching into healthcare. It's not new, because the Canary wrote about this in 2018. The co-working NHS DWP, it was obviously the idea of Tony Blair and his government. DWP infesting the NHS is a recipe for disaster. She also said, "I believe in work for mental health." Repeat after us. This is not true. Yes, quite true. Obviously pushing people whom the DWP have already subjected to systemic abuse and human rights violations further towards it or into work when they're not ready or able, through no fault of their own, it could be deadly. As the UN committee noted just last week, nearly 600 people took their own lives in just 3 years because of the work capability assessment. To be clear, it's not the chronically ill and disabled people don't want to work. Most of them physically can't, either because they are too ill, or work is too inaccessible, or there's no jobs available for them. It's no good making up a job that doesn't exist. However, it does after years of government and media propaganda, as the UN Human Rights Committee called it. They are demonising these people. So, in reality, Liz Kendall's plans are little more than Labour's attempt to be as human rights violating as the Tories have been. She's dressing them up as something slightly cuddlier, trying to push 2.7 million chronically ill and disabled people into work is toxic. In the big issue, which is also another place where you'll find this story, the Works and Pensions Secretary beliefs and what she'll mean for the DWP. So she obviously has a history of this from her role in the shadow cabinet. So what did she say about her plans? Basically, we've gone through this, and she have said that most of what I've just told you, because she has claimed that obviously the overwhelming focus of the DWP has been on benefits and the creation of universal credit. But under Labour, the focus would be on getting people into work. And I would suggest that we add on there, by any means possible, including obviously removal of benefits, I would say. Under Labour Party, if you can work, there will be no option of a life on benefits. Not just because the British people believe rights should go in hand with responsibilities, but because being unemployed or lacking basic qualifications when you're young can harm your job prospects and wages for the rest of your life. This isn't good enough for young people or our country. So what is her record on this? We have here, she has voted for raising benefits in line with prices. She voted against a reduction in spending on welfare benefits and for paying higher benefits over longer periods for those unable to work due to illness or disability. And this obviously is the history of voting. She's also voted against the increase in the state pension age, but most of these votes took place over 10 years ago. She was the only candidate in 2015 to back Harriet Harman after she said that she would not oppose some Tory welfare cuts, including a reduction of the benefit cap and cuts to tax credits. Kendall said in 2015 that Ed Miliband was to blame for the loss of the previous election, at least in part because he focused too much on the poorest families. What's her background? Well, she's had a long history. She was the political advisor to Harriet Harman, who was the Shadow Minister for Social Security in 1996, and she was obviously appointed Secretary of State for Social Security after Labour won, but she was sacked shortly after, and Kendall went back into charity work and research. Kendall was unsuccessful in attempting to become a Labour candidate in 2001, and she later returned to government as an advisor for Patricia Hewitt, the Department of Trade and Industry. During the 2010 general election, Kendall was elected to Parliament as MP for Leicester West, and she was a shadow junior health minister. The main point there is that she was appointed Shadow Secretary for Works and Pensions in September 2023. It's not looking good as far as anything to do with disabilities and benefits, because she has this idea that people need to get off their arses and get back to work, no matter what. Despite what we say in various videos and from various channels, it's not looking good. So there we go. That's the latest update for this woman who is now in charge of the DWP. So we're going to expect more trouble. There's going to be trouble ahead.
There may be trouble ahead.
And thanks for watching. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, whatever. Pass it on. And I'll catch you later. Bye for now.